Well, when we sat down in the summer and we finished free agency, Mason was added to the team, and we looked at the makeup of them as far as size goes, the hands. We anticipated we may have an abundance of centers, so somebody was going to have to go in the wing. And when you tend to do that, they're either really offensive or they can be really good checking. I'm not saying that line can't be really good offensively, but I think they can check real well. Their size and their strength and their ability to hold on to pucks in the offensive zone, I thought we saw some of that in the red and white game. Andrew, I thought when I got here last year, I didn't know what to expect from Andrew, and I thought he was playing, he's just playing. And then we talked about it a little bit, and we talked about getting after it a little bit. And then I thought he became a real effective player. Unfortunately, the injury took him out. So maybe his legs, his willingness to get after it will help the other two and vice versa. I just think they'll complement each other, but again, there's no guarantee we'll start the season with them there.
Obviously, the penalty kill looked like an emphasis this morning out there. I'm sure it's a priority for you guys. What do you want to accomplish on the penalty kill as you get ready for the season?
Well, it flat out has to get better. If it doesn't get better, we're not accomplishing any of our goals. Can it get better? Yes, absolutely it can get better. We have to coach it better, get them to understand it better, and then we have to react better. But there's other elements to it that have to improve, and some of it's confidence. You can't go out there wondering if you're going to get scored on. You have to go out there and believe that you can start a penalty kill streak. Are we going to be perfect? No. First 3 nights, maybe we get lit up. I don't know. But we have 82 games to improve it, and we're going to do that as a group. Penalty killing also hurts a little bit. You get punished in a lot of different ways, blocking shots, fatigue, all that type of stuff, and it's got to hurt a little bit more for us. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it has to hurt a little bit more for us to get it improved.
With Copp coming back from the injury, you had several scrimmages up there in Traverse City. Just what were your impressions of him and how he fared? And when you get to that first preseason game, how much of a bigger test is that, even though he's had the contact in the scrimmages?
I think in talking to Andrew, the injury itself and the mentality of being over it we're done with that. Like there's no hesitation, no wondering if. That's a luxury he had of having his fix early and then having the whole summer to recover. So mentally he should be well beyond thinking about it. Timing and rhythm, really, yeah, he missed the last 20 games or whatever, but everybody's been out for 4 or 5 months. I don't think he's going to be behind at all. Which Andrew are we going to get is probably a real good question. I expect that second half of our arrival here before he got hurt, I expect us to see that. If we see the first half, it's probably not going to be a good thing for him or for us.
Ted, you saw a lot of Mason Appleton out west. I mean, what can we expect? I mean, what type of player is he?
It's, simple. What you see is what you get. Some size, checking ability, responsibility, a heaviness, penalty killer. But he also has the ability to chip in with some offense. And obviously we've got to get a little more from 5-on-5 play and a little bit more from our bottom six. And we believe he can do that too.
Well, and just when you watch the PK from last season on video, was there a common thread? I mean, what did you see happening there more often than not?
Well, when we got here, and I think I explained this throughout the year, I think they'd already switched. The players and the staff that had been before us had already gone from a system or a structure system to something different, and then the new dummies come in and they're going to make it even better, and they switched 3 times. It took us a long time to figure out what we were doing, and we fixed things on the fly. We didn't have a lot of time. I thought structurally we got to what we wanted, but there's an important part of penalty kill that we weren't applying pressure. Structurally we got to it, but there was times we could go and penalty kill less applying pressure, and we reverted to just going to positional play. And I think that'll be a big part of our adjustment this year. Will we get dinged on it? Yeah, we're going to, but the best teams in the league get dinged on it. So we're going to try and work our way up the ladder with some adjustments.
Kind of prompted my next question exactly. I heard you when you were talking to the team today. We could hear you talking about spacing and understanding when to go and when to give the goalie the shot and things like that. What's kind of in your mind the level of aggressiveness you want to see from guys in zone when it comes to going?
On the kill we're talking?
Yeah, on the kill, yeah.
Well, there's, I used a clip today of Kucherov, arguably maybe the best half-wall guy right now, Connor, Leon, I don't know, those type of guys. And you have to know your prey. You have to know what their strengths are. Pre-scouts should help. So there's certain things we can do with a guy like Kucherov, or shouldn't be doing with a guy like Kucherov in comparison to me if I was on the half board. So a lot of it is team and system orientated. The goal points and the aggressiveness. Fatigue comes into play. It's hard to, if you're out there for a minute and a half and you start running around, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. That's where structure comes into play. So I can't answer your question specifically. Mm-hmm. We've got to read off of each other and just play hockey sometimes. But we're going to give them some of the signals that potentially could initiate some pressure.
And then with the penalty kill, when it comes to like a guy like you talked about having is going to hurt and everything like that, and I'm sure it's a question as a coach you always figure out. You got to I see Lucas is out there killing penalties and stuff today. What's kind of the balance as a coach where you look at those guys who are going to be those top 6 guys, play lots of other minutes, and you're going to put how do you kind of figure that, and how's that kind of evolved in your career of which top guys should and shouldn't be on the kill?
I believe when I first came in years and years ago, your top end guys weren't killing as much. We don't want you to block a shot. We don't want, tire you out or anything like that. But as the game's evolved and the evolution of it, it's a lot of times it's best versus best. I think some of your best penalty killers are the smartest and quicker guys that can anticipate where it goes. They tend to be those high-end players. It's whether or not they want to get in the shooting lane and block and sacrifice. We can't bubble wrap our players. We can't play safe. We can't afford that. We need everybody to go. And I know the argument will be made, well, if so-and-so gets injured, you're screwed. It happens. That's why we have extra players. And if you're in the NHL, you should be able to play in every situation. I do believe if you take some of those higher-end players and don't use them on the penalty kill, sometimes you just lose them in the game. You can be shorthanded 3 times in the first period, in the first 10 minutes, and they may as well go take their equipment off. They haven't gone. So everybody has to have the ability to do it. Everybody has to want to do it. And then we have to figure out how to use them in the rhythm of the game. Can't worry about injuries. It happens.
One of the players you just talked about, what version we're going to see this season, is Andrew Copp. But another player that you spoke about in training camp is J.T. Compher. His first season here, he came within 2 or 3 points, I think it was, of matching his previous career high. But then last season, unfortunately, a bit of a different story. What does an improved season for J.T. Compher look like for you in your mind?
JT is leading on the ice, leading the charges rather than blending into them or coming from behind. He'll know exactly what that means. If he's sometimes first on the forecheck or he's aggressive and leaving the zone and joining the rush, he can't let everything go by him and then join. I call that just playing in the middle of the rink all the time. And you're generally safe there, but we need him to be assertive. And I thought later in the year he started to do those things. But camp, you heard me gas pedal and brake. Can't ride the brake all the time. And JT, when he got on the gas, he was a pretty good player.
Just a quick big picture one for me, and a busy stretch starting here for you guys tonight. What do you hope to gain from this stretch of hockey here and continuing the habits from Traverse City?
Well, we've only put a few things in place. So these early exhibition games especially, it's all about watching the games and evaluating instincts and read and react. There is some structure stuff that's in place we want to see. But we're just going to roll lines out tonight. I think I saw Connor Bedard's name on I want to see Finney out against Connor Bedard. I want to see our young D-man playing him one-on-one. We're not going to try and hide anybody. We want that exposure, want to be able to evaluate. And really that's going to happen through these first 4 games. Like, they're going to happen so fast, and there's very little practice time. We're going to have to do what we did today in pregame skates, where we introduce things and then get through the week, and we'll reevaluate when we're there. I'm sorry? Finney is playing tonight, I believe, yep. Good, okay.
Andrew, how excited are you about the possibility with your line with Mason and Michael?
Yeah, I mean, I think each kind of bring a little something different to the table, but as an overarching game, I think we complement each other pretty well, and pretty familiar playing with both of them. I think, obviously, parts of the last 3 years with Rass, and then played a good amount with Appy back in Winnipeg. So I feel like we can kind of complement each other and, be a line that's relied upon, both offensively and defensively.
Are you fully back to what
Yeah, I'm fully healed, yeah.
You've obviously been a key penalty killer here. Like, when you look at where you guys were at last year, and obviously a lot of work on that today, like, what are your biggest, I guess, objectives, and what do you think we can see from that group this year?
I think, just being a little bit more instinctive and not necessarily afraid to make mistakes. We got almost too passive and too worried about, I got to be here, I got to be there. And I think we were a little indecisive in like the previous structure, and we weren't necessarily playing on our toes. And then as we changed structure, we kind of maybe even went more that way, just because we were so concentrated on like, I need to be here, I need to be here. And we kind of just didn't play the game a little bit and pressure as much as we really needed to, and so teams got extra possessions and got more time with the puck. And once we were in the structure, it's not that we were bad, we just gave teams too much time in that structure. So I think knowing the structure innately right from camp will be a huge help, and then on top of it, the stress of putting pressure on the other team and maybe get it changing quicker than maybe we used to too.
We kind of just talked to Todd about this too. When it comes to the penalty kill, obviously every team is going to have a different kind of pivot point or strength or whatever. As you've kind of gone through the league, what's it been kind of like building your own mental notes of, if we're playing Team X, I know this is the guy you have to build on? Or what's that been kind of like in your career from a player perspective?
I mean, there's just, in terms of other teams, there's so many good players that run the half wall now, we have one of them. Or two of them, I guess, now with how well Ray played last year on the half wall. But you look at Kucherov, you look at Panarin, you look at guys at that level. You can't, kind of gonna go the opposite of what I just said. But you can't just run at them. They want you to run at them, and then they're gonna put it through your feet or through your triangle. So you got to be really calculated in those circumstances. But that's where it comes back to really just focusing on us and how. Our operation, our process. I think the biggest thing that when I've been on really good penalty killing teams is we are really good at standing the blue line as they enter. We're really good at dictating. And even if you don't get them right at the blue line, everyone's stopped at the blue line basically. And if you get them 5-10 feet and you pinch them off there, and then we're the first to the puck in the corner, I think that really can be the biggest difference. And really deflating for the power play. You try and break in 2-3 times, you get that puck down on the ice right away. Like all those top guys are coming back to the bench, swearing, slamming sticks, all that, and you can see that frustration. That kind of gives you a little bit of you're doing the right thing. So there's so many good players, and each team has their own way of opening up penalty kills, and that's kind of why you really just got to be very precise in your own process and your own structure, and then find a calling card, and that could be face-offs too, huge, blocking shots, and then for me it's the standing at the blue line has always been just you just come off the ice and you feel really good about the work that you did.
And can we mention the half wall there? And a lot of teams, that's now the kind of point of emphasis where teams build off, but there's still some teams that run from the top. Just as a penalty killer for you, what are some of the challenges or differences if a team's they're running from the side or they're running from the top now as you're kind of adjusting to that?
Yeah, I think, in general, the structure is the same. It's generally that 1-3-1, and There's been so many diamonds that come in where they kind of rotate now, but for the most part, that trigger man's that half wall guy, and trying to take away as many options as you can, or maybe try and force him into loving a particular option and then trying to jump that. So, I think that for like Colorado, for example, having Makar and McKinnon can make it more difficult just because Makar is so dangerous walking that blue. But we have our rules that that we follow based on hands in certain situations and how far he walks and all that. So we just really got to be dialed into all of our details and process, and then we're gonna get scored on at some point during the year, and I'm sure there's gonna be ups and downs, but we got to get off to a hotter start than we did last year. I think we gave up like 6 goals in the first 3 games, and you're fighting back from that, and it's a long way uphill, and obviously we've never really got over that. So hopefully we get a fast start with the penalty kill and just can kind of keep the momentum going.
What will Appleton bring to the team?
A little bit of everything. I mean, I think off the ice, he's done a great job of getting to know everyone. He's fit right in. A little bit of the life of the room. Brings an element of speed, tenacity, especially on the forecheck. Likes playing below the goal line, around the net, as opposed to trying to play up at the blue line, playing perimeter game. That's not really him. He's direct. Plays fast. Plays tenacious. And then, he brings an intensity to the game that's important, on the bench, in the room, in the, intermissions before the game, shift to shift, just a certain mentality of, kind of going to get this done and holding guys to a high standard, hold himself to a high standard. So I think he's going to be a real asset.
Well, speaking of Appleton, he's a former Spartan. You're a former Wolverine, and there's a bunch of other Wolverines on the team. Is there going to be any friendly banter between you guys this year?
I mean, there always is. I tell you what, he's an absolute diehard Packers fan, though. So that's where I think that's more of where the issues will lie.
And then, how difficult was it for you getting hurt at the end of February there and missing the rest of the season? And what is it that you hope to personally accomplish as you start your 4th season here with the Red Wings?
It was definitely not fun at a time when I felt like both my game and the team game were really starting to take off, and I think we had just finished 2 7-game win streaks in 20 games, and it was bad timing for sure. But I feel like I had a long time to train. I had a long time to clear my head mentally, be refreshed for a new season. I'm excited. I think, maybe I was chomping at the bit, maybe in July and August more than usual because it had been that long since I played a hockey game. So very excited. And, I mean, I think, every individual is the same. You want to have as big a role as possible, play as well as possible. For me, I mean, it's a team do or die type year. Like we have to make the playoffs. It's our only goal. It's our only focus. And anything short of that is going to be looked at as not good enough, and I don't think we can be fearful of admitting that. I think we need to look at our goals straight in the eye, and everything we do from now until April is to make the playoffs.
How has your adjustment been so far?
So far, so good. Obviously, a lot of new faces, new systems, new staff. So it's a lot of learning, but enjoying it so far, and starting to have to think a little less and just play a little more. So it's been smooth.
What do you think you can bring to the team?
Just kind of my identity as a player, just being a hard 200-foot player, making plays when they're there, defending hard. Hopefully keeping other dynamic players off the scoreboard in the other team, and chipping in when I can. So just trying to be me every day, and consistent player, and just work real hard.
Mason, when the Wings called, was it a pretty easy choice, or do you have other options?
Yeah, I mean, free agency's it's a fun time. It's a hard time. It's a weird time. It's a little bit of everything. But I think Detroit was a team that made a lot of sense for me. And when we kind of started talking, the fit just seemed right. And it was easy once things came together a bit.
Some familiar faces too, so that's gotta kind of help the transition, I would think, right?
Yeah, I've played with Copper and Benny, so definitely when you go to a new team, it kind of helps having guys there that you already know. But overall, guys are super welcoming here, and they've been great. So it's been easy. You don't feel like the new kid anymore already.
Obviously, getting to skate with Andrew so far in camp, like what do you think that line could bring if you guys stick together?
Yeah, I think it can be a really good line. You know, 3 big bodies that can play a complete game. So I think we can frustrate a lot of opponents and defend them real hard, and then chip in offensively, hang on to pucks a lot, make simple plays, hard plays, get to the net, and produce from there. So I think our lines, you know, we're a fast, hard line to play against, and I think we can contribute as well.
I know you didn't see Detroit often, maybe once or twice a year in Winnipeg, but what kind of have your impressions been from outside of where this group is at and where they can go?
I think one of the reasons I signed here was because it's a team, you know, I believed in, and a team that I think is right there. And obviously Todd having his first full season with us now starting now, I think he'll be able to, you know, help us make that jump. And we're knocking on the door for the playoffs, and, you know, we're going to push for that and do everything we can to get there. So yeah, I mean, when you try to pick a team that's best for you, obviously you want to win and you want to be a part of success. So I think, you know, me coming to Detroit, hopefully we can, you know, just get over the edge there.
What are your kind of personal takeaways from what playoff hockey means now from the past couple of years with Winnipeg and in the postseason, and what it takes once you get in there? Just kind of your reflections on that now.
Yeah, playoff hockey's, you know, it's different, but in a sense you want to be playing playoff hockey for 82 games, but it definitely ramps up, and, you know, everything matters more. Every little positive, negative, it's kind of under a microscope. So, and then you think a 7-game series is a long series, and you find yourself, say, down 2-1 or 3-1, and, you know, the series can be almost over. So it's hard hockey. It's the best time of the year. It's when, you know, obviously the best teams come out and the best players come out, and, you know, we've had a lot of playoff experience in Winnipeg. Obviously never won it, but yeah, being a part of, you know, playoff teams consistently is you learn kind of what it takes, and hopefully I can, you know, bring a bit of that experience here and kind of help in that aspect.
And what's kind of, when you kind of talked about, you got to build up to it, but you kind of play it all year, you got to build up to it. What's kind of the balance as a player? Because there is you're trying to get to that mentality for April, but you can't run yourself through a wall every single day for 82 games. Like, what's kind of the balance as a player that you've kind of learned through your career on that?
Yeah, you know, that's a really hard question, because as a player you want to give everything you got every single night, and I think you spend the 82 games getting your machine rolling in, you know, the right direction and getting it going as smooth as possible, and you have a training camp to iron out some kinks, and then, you know, changes happen during the year, and then there's a, you know, potential deadline addition. So you're building something the whole year, and you're building that by giving your best every day and becoming your best as a player individually and then collectively as a group. So when game 83 hits, you're hopefully still playing hockey, and then that machine is as well oiled as it can be, and you're ticking. But you can't just turn it on. You don't see teams that lollygag the last 30 games just all of a sudden be the best in the playoffs. You got to have built that through your 82 games, and then just hit the ground running and continue on what you built then.
As this group kind of begins to assimilate together, what are some of the key themes or traits that you're seeing from the group as a whole in terms of just the style on the ice and off the ice?
I think, you know, on the ice we have a lot of good skaters. I think we'll be able to pressure a lot, whether that's on forechecks. I think the penalty kill is going to be more aggressive. And then offensively, we're kind of, you know, you're going to let your skill take over with, obviously we have some real dynamic players in the top 6, and every line looks a little bit different, but at the same time you all kind of have a role. But I think it's a really good skating team, and we're going to be playing a fast game, and just playing hard and playing with that tempo, and, you know, I think we're going to really make teams struggle that way.
Thanks, Mason.
Yep.
Times you and we're going back, kind of picking Todd's brain as you guys working. What's it like kind of for you working in that unit, just on the penalty kill, and kind of taking a bigger expanded role in that as your career kind of takes some steps?
Yeah, I mean, obviously PK is a huge part of the game, same as power play, right? And last year we weren't sharp enough in that area, and something we really look to improve this year. So yeah, I mean, I think it was a good practice. You kind of just go through it, make sure everyone's on the same page, and from there on you can execute at a high pace. So yeah, it's we did it last year when Todd and Jans came in. So a lot of us are familiar with it, but you know, I think it's just about making sure everyone's on the same page, and you know, so we could work as a four unit out there with the goalie, obviously, but to be able to execute it at a high pace.
Are there any elements for you from doing some of that, working with the PK a little bit, that you can kind of help you maybe add something to your work on the power play? Anything, just kind of having the first-hand experience on both sides of it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was even thinking that today. Like, you kind of, when you're on the PK, you think a certain way, right? And then you're on the power play, you try to think the opposite. So, you know, obviously to see it from both perspectives for me as a power play guy, to be on the PK and kind of look at it that way, and then the other way around, I like that a lot. And it helps your game both sides. So, for sure. And it's fun and it's interesting, and it's like I said, it's something we really want to improve as a team, and I think everyone's really committed to doing it. So I mean, that's a good start right there, right? So it was really good practice, and look to you know, get better at that.
Lucas, how much urgency do you feel both individually and as a team to get into the playoffs this season?
Big. I mean, for me, it's my 5th year, and I haven't been to the playoffs. Been very close a couple times, and it's for us. I think we're at the point where we can't take another step unless it's the playoffs, right? It's the only way forward we can go. And myself, everyone in that locker room, everyone around us is very determined. I think you could tell that coming into camp. Just the pace we played, and the urgency we kind of had coming into this camp, and everyone knows it, and everyone knows we have all the tools in that locker room and around us to be successful. So it's a good vibe. Like, not only players, you could feel it up in Traverse with the fans, everything that goes on around. I think everyone's really excited for this year.
Yeah, Lucas, what have been your impressions of Finney so far?
Really good. Really fun to see. He plays with a lot of pace. A really smart player out there, and a great guy off the ice as far as I've gotten to know him. So it's been really fun to see, and even playing against him in the red and white games, I think he was a guy that kind of stood out and made you go, wow. So really fun to see, and you know, I think there's a lot of guys that had a really good camp.
Hey, Lucas, like individually, I mean, you don't have to say the numbers or anything, but are there goals or things you want to achieve this year individually?
I mean, obviously, yes, right? Like, I wouldn't necessarily say any numbers. Like, it's not that I'm aiming for certain numbers in different areas, right? I think that kind of comes automatic if you, you know, take steps as a player in different areas. I think, you know, just this entire offseason, coming into training camp, just talking with guys, everyone wants to take their game to a next level, whether that's a guy playing the 1st, 5th, 10th, like whatever it is, everyone wants to take a step, and I think that'll just help us take a step as a team. So for sure, I mean, you come into every year looking to improve different things, whether that's in the off season working on stuff, coming into training camp working on stuff as a team. So for sure, I mean, I think that's just natural, and I think you need that as well.
Did you like your season last year? I mean, was there a lot of positives, a lot of steps that you took forward?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good year, right? Like, I felt like I took a step. I left the year looking at periods where I wasn't necessarily extremely happy with my playing, but you want to try to limit those and extend the good stretches. So it's I feel like after every year you kind of pick up on things that you want to work on, where you feel during a year in certain situations where you're like, okay, I really want to get better at this to help grow my game, and it could be anything, right? So you look to do that every year, and you have a great opportunity in the summer to do so. And that's kind of the thing. Everyone's working on their separate things in the summer, trying to get ready the best way they can, and then now you come into training camp and trying to mold it all together for us to be as successful as possible as a team.
Was there anything this summer that you
Different things. I mean, obviously, physical part is a big part of it. It always is. Whether that's putting on weight for some guys, losing weight for some guys, getting more mobile, more explosive. It's different, right? That's always a big part, and then you kind of try to translate that on the ice. For me, it's about keep my explosivity. Is that the word? Explosiveness, maybe. Staying mobile, but still getting that weight that I feel comfortable out there. So I had a really good summer, and I'm just excited to get going.
Would you say that that's the most intense training camp that you've had so far in your NHL career? And then how do you feel about your impressions on younger guys like Amadeus Lombardi, Nate Danielson, Carter Mazer in camp?
Yeah, I know. I think every camp's different. Like I've had 3 different training camps with 3 different coaches, and everyone's been different, good in different ways. I think this year was really good for us. We started practices with high pace, high intensity, kind of get right into it, and so you kind of get that part, but still get the detailed part as well. And then with scrimmage, I feel like I have at least found my game faster than usual, where you feel comfortable and up to speed out there. And with guys that you mentioned, I think a lot of guys, coming up has had a really good camp, and obviously a couple of the names you mentioned, and it's really fun to see. You see guys really put their foot forward out there, and trying to make it as hard as possible on coaches and management to pick a team that is going to help us be as successful as possible come first game of the season. So it's really exciting, and I think that just adds to it. Like, you got pressure coming from underneath, and kind of puts a fire up everyone's ass a bit. So yeah, it's been fun.
You gotta mention just adding things to your game through your career goes, like, is there anything about your game now that an element or anything you've added to your game that maybe if I had told you 3 or 4 years ago you wouldn't have thought would have been part of Lucas Raymond's game in the NHL?
Both yes and no. For me, I try to be as well-rounded of a player I could possibly be, and make the biggest impact I'm able to do out there. So, it's for sure some parts. I think the off-ice stuff, just viewing the game in different ways, I think that's a huge part. When you're young, you kind of think you know everything, right? And you think you're always right, and you see it the right way. But as you go along, you learn new stuff every day. And I think as long as you're receptive of that and have that urge to want to develop and want to improve your game, I feel like it usually works out pretty good. So for sure. And I mean, that's a fun part, right? Like, you always try to find new stuff to give you that little bit of an edge, whether that's a big difference or sometimes just a small, with how small the margins are out there between teams, between players. It's you try to get every edge possible. Perfect. Thank you, guys.